Welcome back to our channel, where we uncover hidden meanings behind some of the most fascinating myths and legends in human history. Today, let us step into a world of mystery, imagination, and timeless wonder as we talk about a creature that has captivated cultures across the globe, the dragon. For centuries, people have asked the same question: why can dragons fly without wings, unlike birds, bats, or even the winged dragons of Western tales? The dragons of Eastern mythology often soar gracefully through the sky, with nothing but a serpentine body and a commanding presence. How is that possible, and what deeper truths are hidden in this symbolism? Let us begin by remembering that the dragon is not just a creature of flesh and blood. It is a symbol, a force of nature, and in many traditions, even a spiritual guardian. In East Asian cultures, especially in China, dragons are considered masters of the skies and the seas. They command the rain, the storms, and even the winds. When people imagined them flying, it was not with the limitations of biology. Instead, it was with the limitless power of nature itself. A dragon does not flap its wings. It glides on the breath of the universe, carried by clouds and thunder. This idea reflects something profound. Humans have always looked up to the sky with awe. The clouds moving, the storms rolling in, the sudden shifts of the wind. All of these inspired myths about great beings that could control such forces. The dragon's flight is, in fact, the movement of the elements. It is as though the dragon merges with the world itself, showing us that true power does not always come from muscles or mechanics, but from harmony with natural forces. Now, compare this to Western dragons. In medieval European tales, dragons are often fearsome beasts with massive wings like those of a bat. Their flight is physical, heavy, and tied to the idea of dominance and fear. Eastern dragons, on the other hand, represent wisdom, prosperity, and balance. Their flight without wings is not meant to be explained scientifically, but spiritually. It tells us that sometimes the most extraordinary things cannot be measured. They can only be imagined, believed, and passed down through story. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson here. The wingless flight of the dragon is not about breaking the laws of nature, but about reminding us that imagination is more powerful than rules. When we dream, when we tell stories, when we dare to think beyond what seems possible, we too are like dragons soaring without wings. So as we begin today's journey, keep this in mind. The image of a dragon flying effortlessly through the clouds is not just a myth. It is a symbol of human wonder, creativity, and the eternal quest to rise above limitations. When we look deeper into the image of a dragon soaring through the skies, we start to see that this legend was never about anatomy or biology. It was about the way people understood the world. In ancient times, before science explained clouds, storms, and lightning, people turned to stories to make sense of the unknown. A dragon without wings riding on the wind was a poetic way of saying that nature itself was alive, powerful, and full of mystery. In Chinese culture, for example, the dragon is closely connected with rain. Farmers depended on seasonal rains for their harvests, and when the skies opened, it felt as though a divine force was at work. Instead of seeing the storm as random, they saw the movement of a great dragon twisting among the clouds. The dragon did not need wings, because it was never a creature bound by physical rules. It was the embodiment of natural energy. This idea also carries a deeper message about harmony. Unlike many Western legends where humans fought dragons as enemies, Eastern dragons often served as protectors or bringers of fortune. Their ability to fly without wings was a reminder that true strength comes not from brute force, but from wisdom and connection to the greater flow of life. A dragon could glide through the sky because it was one with the wind. Think about it this way. When we as humans feel inspired, when our creativity takes flight, we do not need wings either. We feel lifted by imagination, by ideas, by visions of something greater. The dragon's mythical flight mirrors this experience. It suggests that the mind and spirit can rise far beyond what the body can achieve. Interestingly, some storytellers today like to imagine scientific explanations for this ancient belief. They picture dragons generating invisible forces, like magnetic fields or streams of energy, that allow them to levitate. Others suggest that perhaps their long bodies worked like natural airships, gliding smoothly with the currents. While these are playful modern theories, they all circle back to the same truth. People want to believe in the impossible because it reflects our own desire to overcome limits. That is why, after thousands of years, we are still enchanted by dragons. We see them in festivals, in literature, in films, and even in dreams. Their flight without wings continues to inspire us to think beyond what is ordinary. It tells us that sometimes the most important journeys are not about logic or mechanics, but about faith, imagination, and the stories we carry forward. And so, as we follow this tale, we realize that the wingless dragon is more than just a creature of myth. It is a timeless symbol of freedom, creativity, and the boundless human spirit. But what if we step beyond myth and symbolism and ask a different kind of question? If dragons were real, how could they fly without wings? This is where science fiction and imagination begin to merge, opening up exciting possibilities. One idea is that dragons could generate a powerful electromagnetic field around their bodies. In nature, certain creatures already produce electricity, like electric eels. If a dragon possessed this ability on a much larger scale, it could create a magnetic force that interacts with the Earth's magnetic field. This invisible energy might act as a cushion, lifting the dragon into the sky and allowing it to glide through the air effortlessly. Instead of wings, the dragon would ride on waves of magnetism. Another theory is based on the concept of plasma energy. Plasma is sometimes called the fourth state of matter, a superheated, glowing form of gas that we see in lightning bolts and stars. Imagine a dragon capable of harnessing plasma inside its body, releasing bursts of energy powerful enough to create lift. The same inner fire that allows dragons to breathe flames and stories could also double as a propulsion system, pushing them through the sky like a living rocket. A third possibility is bioaerodynamics. Some scientists speculate that a creature with a long, flexible body like the eastern dragon might be able to move in a way similar to how snakes swim in water. If the air around the dragon were ionized or lightened by its energy, the dragon could swim through the atmosphere itself, twisting and turning gracefully without needing wings. This might explain why legends describe them weaving through clouds, as if the sky were an ocean. Of course, all of these ideas are imaginative speculation, but that is exactly what makes them so thrilling. By applying science-like reasoning to an ancient myth, we give the dragon a place in both worlds, the world of legend and the world of possibility. We can picture a creature that is not only magical, but also strangely logical, a being that stretches the limits of what biology and physics might allow. And in a way, this exercise tells us something about ourselves. Humans have always looked for ways to fly, from crafting wings to building airplanes and rockets. The dream of a wingless dragon soaring through the heavens is simply another reflection of our desire to escape gravity and touch the sky. It inspires us to imagine technologies that may not exist today, but could one day reshape how we see the universe. So when we think about dragons flying without wings, we are not just talking about a mythical beast. We are exploring the bridge between myth, science, and imagination. And perhaps that is why the dragon continues to live on, not only as a guardian of tradition, but also as a spark for future dreams. In the end, whether we view the dragon as a sacred guardian, a symbol of balance, or a creature explained through futuristic science, one truth remains clear: the dragon's ability to fly without wings has always represented freedom beyond limits. It is the voice of human imagination across cultures and centuries, reminding us that stories can lift us higher than reason alone. From the villages of ancient China, where farmers prayed for rain, to the castles of Europe where knights feared mighty beasts, the dragon has always been more than just a myth. It has been a mirror of our deepest hopes and fears. The Eastern dragon, rising through clouds without wings, speaks of harmony and wisdom. The Western dragon, with wings of fire, speaks of challenge and conflict. And when we combine these visions with modern ideas, magnetism, plasma, aerodynamics, we see that the dragon continues to evolve, carrying its legend into the future. The beauty of this story is not in finding a single answer, but in realizing that the question itself, how can a dragon fly without wings, keeps our minds alive with wonder. It invites us to imagine what lies beyond the known, to believe that there is always more to discover. Just like the dragon weaving gracefully among the clouds, we too are capable of rising above the ordinary, guided by creativity and curiosity. Perhaps that is why the dragon has never faded from our world. Even today, it appears in festivals, films, books, and dreams. It inspires art, technology, and even the way we think about nature. Each culture, each generation, reshapes the dragon in its own image, giving it new ways to soar, and yet, at the heart of every version, the dragon remains a symbol of the impossible made possible. So as we close today's journey, let us carry this lesson with us. Sometimes we do not need wings to fly. All we need is the courage to imagine, the wisdom to believe, and the spirit to rise above the limits placed before us. The dragon reminds us that the skies are open, waiting for anyone who dares to dream. Thank you for joining me in exploring this timeless mystery. If you enjoyed today's story, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue uncovering more legends and secrets together. Until next time, may your spirit soar as high as the dragons themselves.